Have you ever been for a psychic reading and they've told you you're too closed off and refunded your money? Because it's happened to me several times. Now, whether or not you believe in psychics is another story, but let me give you some examples of me being too closed off. And if it's ever happened to you, let me know in the comments. When I was 18 or 19, I went to a supposed psychic who was reading my palm, and I was with my boyfriend. I honestly wasn't expecting much for this one, but she says, "Oh, that's your boyfriend outside. I can see you're going to be together forever. You'll get married and have babies, a boy and a girl." And I was like, "No." And she says, "Yeah, that's what I can see here. This is the lines on your hand, boy and girl." I says, "No, that's not going to happen. I'm not having kids." And she came out with the usual, "Oh, you're only young. You'll change your mind." And I says, "No, I don't believe in marriage. That's not going to happen." "Oh, I feel like you're just being really closed off." And refunded my money. It was hardly anything. It was like £15, right? So another time, I went, this one was not cheap. This was like £60 and it was in St Enoch's Centre. I goes in and the woman, obviously I'm a woman, right? So I must love children. I simply must. So I sits down. "Oh, you love kids?" I says, "No." She says, "Aye, you love kids, but you love to have them and then hand them back at the end of the day." I says, "No, I don't really like kids." At the time I was studying fashion design and I had a big massive art folder with me. So she's thinking to herself, "Oh, what could I say here? She doesn't like kids. She must like art." So she says, "Oh, I can see you doing some sort of art. You're interested in art, drawing and stuff like that." Now, I literally had a big massive art folder with me, right? And I was like, "Aye, a wee bit." So she's obviously thinking I'm into art and painting and not actually fashion design, right? She's like, "Oh, I can see you like painting, having these paintings, selling these paintings, selling them in a gallery." And I was like, "No, I'm not really into that kind of art." "Oh, but you're just starting and and I'm like, that. No. Now, had she said just art in general, that could have been dresses, that could have been fashion, but it was the fact that she was saying, "Oh, you're going to sell paintings." I cannot fucking paint for shit. So I just told her straight, "No, that's not going to happen." Apparently I was being closed off, so I got refunded. She sent me out. So I went to another reader, and at the time I was like really overweight, more overweight than what I am now. But I was just constantly eating vegetables, drinking water. I was eating really healthy, right? But I was still fat because I was eating so much, but I just wasn't moving. So obviously I walk in there and she's looking at me thinking, "This bitch just constantly binges on chocolate and crisps," right? Which was not the case. I was literally living on broccoli and cabbage because I was obsessed with eating it at the time. And she says, "Oh, I can see that your guides are telling me that you need to eat more vegetables." And I says, "No, I literally live on vegetables." And she's like, "Oh, but you need to eat more." I says, "I literally live on vegetables, right?" "Oh, they're telling me you need to drink more water." Now, obviously, she's got to look at me and think she's fat, this is what she needs. But it just was not the case, right? I was closed off. And I think what they mean by closed off is I'm not agreeable. I'm not just going to sit and nod my head and say, "Aye, that's right. Aye, that's right. Aye, I'm going to get married and have kids." No, no, it's simply not going to happen. And I have been in mini group readings before where the psychic's saying, "Oh, this is your personality, this is what's happening in your relationship." And my pals will just sit there and go, "Aye, aye, 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 aye." And I'm sitting thinking, no, that's not true at all. And then after I'll say to them, "Why did you just agree to that?" "Oh, I was just agreeing like to see what else she would say." You're paying her or him. What they're saying is a lot of shit, so why are you sitting there just nodding your head and agreeing? It doesn't make any sense. Now, this hasn't happened to me every single time, but it has happened a lot. And I would highly recommend anybody out there who goes to a psychic who's telling you this is happening and that's happening, don't just sit and agree. Because it defeats the purpose. If somebody's sitting there just reading tarot cards and they're telling you the meaning, okay, fine and well. I read tarot cards and they end up being really accurate, but I'm only telling people what the cards mean. I'm not sitting saying, oh, I'm channeled into the angels or your guides are speaking to me or whatever else, because I don't have that ability. But when other people are charging you, however, it doesn't matter how much they're charging you, if they're telling you, I'm tuned into the guides and the spirits and they're telling me this and that, and it's wrong, just tell them. Don't be embarrassed. And if they turn around and say you're closed off, then fuck it, stop speaking shit to me then. Don't be afraid to speak up. You don't have to be rude, you don't have to argue, just say, no, that's not accurate. Because I see it happening all the time and it's really starting to annoy me now.